Okay, this particular video we're going to talk about the vendor section, and specifically the basic vendor section, the default vendor section. We're not going to be talking about if you purchased the upgraded one that integrates with PayPal and where the user is actually updating and maintaining their vendor listing on their own. This one specifically is with the default setup where the admin, the owner of the website, is actually updating and setting up vendors. Okay. Right now I have default 6 setups for the vendor section. First thing I want to point out is this is unlimited. So if you want 2 vendors listings, if you want 25, if you want 50, you can do that. And basically by vendors I mean categories. Right now this is a wedding based theme, so we're using things like photography, florists, wedding cakes, catering, things like that. And in particular this theme can work with anything. You can have a vendor for whatever that may be, whether it's lawn services or any kind of other retail where you can list them. Just for this particular theme, like I said, it's wedding based, so that's what we're sticking with. Now what you'll see is the first thing is I kind of want to go over this are these 6 particular categories. Is if you're looking for a vendor, let's say photography, I click on photography, and now I'm going to show vendors that are in the photography section. Right now we have 6, and just like the landing page for the vendor section, you can have as many as you want. So if I click, let's say the first one, I want to see her specific profile, her logo, her website URL, her address, her contact information, Twitter, if she has Facebook, a brief little paragraph about her or her company. As well, a really neat thing is a brief little photo gallery. So it's actually set up to where you can upload images, in particular about the business. So if she's a photographer, she can upload images that she's taken, pictures that she's taken, and add it to her details page, the vendor's details page. Okay, with that said, let me go to the back end and show you how this is set. Now a quick reminder, like I said in the beginning, this is for manual updating, for adding accounts manually, not for the upgraded account. If you have an upgraded theme, that you have the Pro theme where you're getting PayPal integration, you don't want to watch this because this video is not for you. This is for the standard theme out the box. Okay, we want to come to is vendors. Let's click this. And first thing we're going to see is I have some generic default accounts that we have set up in here. Is you're going to see your actual list. So if this is the first time you're coming to this section within your theme, this should be blank. You should have no vendors because you haven't added any. Alright, so this will be the list. Next thing we see is the vendors categories. And this is what we see on the front end. So you'll see that we have the 6, the thumbnail, what the category name is, and etc. And if I click the front end, I'll see these 6. Correct? Okay. So to add a new one, we simply give it a name. I'm just going to call this test name. You're going to enter your thumbnail. So see where we have this picture right here. You'll create a thumbnail. Let me grab one real quick here. Okay, go ahead and add new. And here we are. We have our default, our test. And if I come to the front and refresh, now I've added this category. Now the first thing, aside from that, is order. Maybe you don't want this one to be first or etc. We can actually rearrange the order, so maybe this one is appearing here and so forth. So to do that, we simply order it. It's going to start with 0 and go down to how many we have. So I have 7, so it's going to be 0 through 6. So maybe I want this one to be number 3, and now I want number 3 to be 0. Update order, refresh the page, now my order has changed. So it's pretty easy to rearrange this if you want to rearrange that. Alright, if you need to edit it, you just would click the edit button here to make a change, such as the thumbnail or the name of the category. And obviously to delete, we just click delete. Alright, next what we want to look at is the vendors, actually adding a vendor. So someone's emailed you, whatever your system is, they've emailed you, they've contacted you, hey, I want to list on your website, I want to set up a listing, can you help me? what you're going to need to do is gather their information, and then you're going to need to come in here and enter it. So first thing we would do with the email, I'm going to go through all these because they're pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to go through these real quick here and then kind of come back to it. Password and email. Password is not really what's important. That's by default. We have to enter that. There's nothing to give to the client, to the person. So if you sell a listing to somebody, this by default is integrated in the system. We have to add that. Email, of course, is important. They're going to get a confirmation that, hey, you've been added. But the password is anything you can set it. They do not get a password. There is nothing for them to log into. So, please keep that in mind. Category, obviously, we're going to choose from a category that we've already set up. Photography, baking, whatever you have on your website. Next is the company name. Let's see, company name here. Your location, their address, if they just want to list city, entirely up to you and them. Their email address. Just going to kind of pop through this. If they have a URL, a website they want to be linked to, you can do that here. A blog if they have one. Facebook and Twitter, of course. You would put the full address to Facebook and Twitter, not just their ID or their actual name, but the actual full address and the full account to go to it. Their description, so if they have a description of their company, you would put that there. Up top is their logo if they have one. You can add photos. The photos, if you remember, are the photos we have here. And you can put as many as you want. You can put 1, you can put 2, you can put just 3, you can put whatever. Once you get more than 5, it's going to automatically add the plus and the minus where you can scroll through the pictures. Okay? And a quick point, the reason you only see 1 is not because it's broken, but because it scrolls to the next set. So this particular gallery only has 6 total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If this had 10, this whole thing would fill up. So remember that. It's not broken. It's not a bug. It shows the next set. There's only 1 image in the next set. Okay? So you add your logo. You'd add your pictures. And very important is their date. How long is their account good for? So if they pay you for a year or 6 months or whatever, you need to reflect that by adding that here. Okay, once we're all set, we're going to hit save. Okay, so we're in catering. We have company name here as a test. Let's go back to the front end. Let's click vendors. Let's click on catering. Let's look. Oh, we don't have it. It's not here. Why is it not here? Because we actually need to activate this account. So while you fill this information out, there's still one more step to do. We'll go to vendors. All right, here's our listing. Let's find the one we just made. I'm going to click the arrow through. Here's the last one right here, company name here. That would be the company name. And if we scroll to the right, we're going to see activate. And you see all these other ones say deactivate. Those are currently active accounts. So for this one to show up, we need to activate it. Let's activate. It's now an active account. Let's come back to this page, refresh. And what do we see? We see company name here. Click it. Of course, we have no logo, we have no picture gallery, that wasn't set up, but here is the information that we have filled out. So if you need to edit any of these things, we can come in here, we'll click edit by one of these, and all we need to do is come in here and update, change information, click save, and we're good to go. If we need to delete, we can do that, and that's what I'm going to do right now to get this test one out of here. Find it, delete. Come back to this front end, make sure this isn't here anymore, catering, and we're gone. That is it for the vendors section, for the manual vendors section.